Well, baby, I've been fired from playing my hand. I get myself retired as fast as I can. I'm better off than ever in a New York band. Feeling lucky with the sound on Sunday, only yesterday on Monday. Please don't shut up, man, it'll be okay. Is it weird to ask if you can stay hard when you're playing so loud? When you play, you to me are like incense on the sea. You play a note that makes me touch you when you breathe. Play it cool and take your time with the letter. Only yesterday since you met her. I'd like to meet your brother, I want to see him play. I hear you're like each other, but don't it all just still slip away? It's better than the option of go away. You go in the darkness, in the snow. You're playing games, but you wanna play your song. And I hope it don't take long to find the chord that you wanted in your way. We'll just get you and go. We'll just get you and go. We'll just get you and go. We'll just get you and go.
Hell yeah. I would like to welcome to the show Clark Blomquist, country singer, experimental musician, recording artist. We're going to get down to the bottom. We're going to get down to the bottom of what Clark is all about. Yep. We're going to do that before you know it. Uh-oh, hey. Am I gotten the volume? Everybody, welcome to the show, Clark. Hi, Clark.
Bro.
Say that again. You were muted.
Hello from Carborough, North Carolina.
All right, everybody say hi to Clark. Okay, great. I think things are working. We're going to go underway. Clark, your new album is so sick, man.
Thanks.
The country one.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that for a while, because I listened to it all the way through, and I do honestly feel like it's a perfect record, a perfect, beautiful record.
That's sweet of you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for making it, man. So let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, um, we recorded it during the quarantine part, the beginning part last of 2020, and got it out at the end of 2020. Me and a bunch of people around town, Dan Hochstein, Evan and Courtney from Magic Tuber String Band, Libby Rodenbow, a whole bunch of people are on it. Some from out of state, and mostly from around in town. Um, Charlie Burris, who you know, used to work at Nightlight. Um, and we're starting to get ahead of steam and play shows, and then everything got shut down. So that has been put on a long hiatus. But
Hell
after
yeah.
I, you know,
Shout out to making music with the buds.
during the quarantine, everybody had a way to record at home. So it was one of those things like a lot of people did where I sent everybody a rough and they just sent me waves back and I plunked it back in my computer and mixed it. So none of us had to actually get together in person to do it. Um, and then a bunch of time went by and I put out the tape, the one I sent you. And then I got vaccinated. I've played like 30 some shows since then, since last March, because I figured, well, I might as well just go and get out there and do stuff by myself. Some of the time, Magic Tuber String Band is able to play with me, and we have banjo and fiddle and guitar arrangement. But I'm really looking forward to having the big band with the pedal steel and sometimes maybe two fiddles and drums and bass. That makes it just a lot more fun for me.
Is
So,
there is there like a honky tonk scene where you live that you
not
can go and people are like wearing boots and
not
hats?
really, not really. Um, Not a lot. I mean, last summer I did go over to Tennessee and played a bunch of shows solo that were like that. I just kind of drove around in a rental car and ate at Waffle House and did tourist stuff by myself, and then played shows at night in some places in Murfreesboro and Nashville and in Bristol and in Knoxville and Asheville. And there's places like that out there, but around here, I don't know if that exists. I'm not aware of it. I know there's a place behind Monterey in Carborough Plaza where they wear like those duded out suits and cowboy hats and boots, but it's not a honky tonk per se. It's like it's behind the Mexican restaurant there, and they have people's quinceaneras there and like wedding rehearsal, wedding parties and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I should go try to play there.
So what compels you to fucking rock in a country vibe when there's
Uh,
so little support in your own backyard?
People are into it. I mean, people listen to country music. There's just not a dedicated place for it, and there's not a ton of bands playing country music. But they're around, but not like some other places.
What about
Um,
the nightlight or the
oh,
cave?
I've played at the Nightlight, and I've played at the Cave with this project, and I've played out at the Kraken, the Roadhouse that's just outside of town there. That's a good spot for that.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! The
Um,
Kraken.
So there's places. I just played over at this new place, Ruby's in downtown Durham, and played the country set solo. Um, there's places around to play, but it's just not like being in Tennessee, basically, or a lot of other places in the South where I think there are dedicated clubs that are like honky tonk places where that's going on all the time. But that's all right. I'll find a way to get out there and play, and hopefully I'll be able to get out of town some too.
It's got we got some folks in the chat. We got Lance Simmons saying he wants to go on a drive with you in a rental car and eat waffles. He's real excited.
That's the
And
life.
corroborated by JP. He's saying JP in New Jersey is saying that would be ideal right now. And from April Childers, we get a message
Hey, April.
compelling you to spend more time in Tennessee. Duh.
Yeah,
Dude,
traveling.
the tape is so sick. How did you record it? Like, I'm
I went-
curious because I love to record music. I feel like it's the most fun thing I've
is.
found on earth. Really?
Yeah, I agree. I do it all the time.
So if you could go into some detail about how
I
you pulled it off, man, because it sounds so good.
Well, thanks. Some of those songs are almost 20 years old. Some of them are more recent. So I was kind of building them up and not playing them out a lot, but throwing them in here and there if I would play out places. And then I finally got to a point where I had enough where I thought it was an album. And that was around when I got with Dan, the pedal steel guy, and a drummer and bass player, and tried to start playing shows with some covers, mostly old country stuff, and some of the originals as I was writing more. And then when it came time to record it, what I did was I went to a practice space and did all the drums first, which is what I do a lot of the time.
Mm.
Just kind of, I think like, okay, how does it go? And then I'll do all the drums, and then I'll go and add all the like acoustic guitar and all the bass and the vocals, and then from there I send it to all these people, and they send me back the files, and I just plunk them all on the computer and do a mix. And since I wasn't working for a year because of COVID, I would sit around and watch all these YouTube instructional videos about like, I mean, I've done recording for a long time, but I was like, okay, this is the time to really learn some more technical things. So,
Didn't we all?
yeah. So it was kind of good in that way. I mean, for me, as far as that. And then I bought some mastering software, and then I mixed it, mastered it, and then I made the tapes. And then I put them in the mail to friends like you.
Killer, man.
Yeah, and that's
DIY.
it. Yep.
Motherfucking
DIY.
It's so sick, dude. And I want to urge everybody, check it out. I'm going to do some more fancy shit. I'm going to try to. I want to urge everybody to go to Clark's Bandcamp page right there. I just put up a QR code on the screen.
Sweet.
Viewers at home, you can point your phone's camera at it, and it will go right to Clark's Bandcamp. You go ahead and put it on your wish list, or just outright purchase it with no hesitation.
It's free online, but I think the best way to listen to it is buy one of these cassette tapes and then listen to it on your porch, on your boombox, or whatever.
Nice, yeah. Or in your kitchen.
That's the thing. People say, "Oh, you have a tape." I don't have a tape player, but I usually I'll say, "Well, do you though?" And they're like, "Oh, wait a second. I do, I've got a tape deck in my car, or I've got that boombox in the garage out at the workshop, or that radio in the kitchen that we listen to NPR on. It has a tape player in it. So there you go. We'll buy the tape."
It definitely does, and you can go to any old Salvation Army or Goodwill and pick up the tape deck, folks. If you're looking for tips on where to find use tape decks, hit me up 401-256-1454. So just briefly, can we go into the homies who are on the album? You want to just give a shout out and talk about them a little bit?
John Turner up in Connecticut, one of my best friends. He was in my first several bands, like in middle school and high school. Played piano. Charlie Burris played Rhodes electric piano. Dan Hochstein played pedal steel. Pete Pawsey played mandolin and some dobro. Libby Rodenbow played fiddle and sang all the harmony singing, backing vocals. Evan and Courtney from Magic Tuber String Band played fiddle and banjo. Boy, I can't. There's a lot of people. My friend Eric Morrison up in Baltimore did organ on one song. And Zeke Graves. Oh, yeah, Zeke Graves is a big one. I've been doing music with him since I first moved here in the late 90s. He's played in 4 or 5 different bands that I've been in. He did the lead guitar.
Let's go back into your autobiographical information. We're going to bring up Zeke and the fact that he's been there, lurking in the shadows of your musical life. For maybe going on 2 decades.
Yeah.
So Clark, take me on a stroll down memory lane. Let's go to Clarksville.
I moved here in '98, and I met Zeke and Charlie Heron right away, and they've continued to be 2 of my best friends. Really good guys. If I know that you know them, a lot of y'all that have come through town and been to Nightlight know them.
No doubt, lovable guy.
The best guys, Charlie and Zeke.
Oh yeah.
Zeke played in "Shall It Be Thy Name" with me and Caroline. He did some stuff with Tagusa Galpin and some other things where he just kind of got thrown in the mix where we were doing live improvisational music or whatever. And then he played when we had the full country band. He was actually playing and singing some harmony and playing lead guitar. Um, I feel like there's another one, but
That's
yeah,
so
he's always been in the
badass.
mix.
That's so badass, man.
Yeah, Zeke's great. That's another thing. Anybody, I would highly recommend check out Data Hata or God, what was the thing that he just put out a thing with Ben Clack recently that was real good, but I'm spacing on the name of it. But you can find it. It's good. Um, what else? What was the question?
I don't know, man. But you just mentioned your experimental electronic project, which I couldn't pronounce, but then you just said it out loud for the first time. So let's steer towards that direction.
Tegucigalpan.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
That has been my catch-all. It's mostly electronic music and some kind of more just experimental music, and sometimes kind of pop music. And there have been a few periods where it was like a thrash metal band, and I just thought it was funny to just use the same name, kind of, and like maybe people would show up and think it was going to be me with the sampler and the drum machine, and it was like me with the drummer and bass player. We played like one 20-minute long speed metal song. Um, I put out 4 double albums of Tegucigalpan stuff since 2016, and they're all on Bandcamp for free. So that's 4 hours of stuff. And then there's another one that another about 40 minutes that I'm kind of sitting on. That's the band that I have played the most like shows the last few years with at Nightlight and the Cave and the places around town. Usually it's just me by myself, but sometimes I'll drag a few people in. And there's tapes of that stuff too. I don't have them, but they have them at All Day. Some of them you can order it through All Day Records.
Is that all on the same Bandcamp page, or is it?
It is.
Okay, great. So everything, every disparate project that you do, because they're all pretty different.
Well, the Tegucigalpan is on one page on Bandcamp, and then the country album is on a separate page.
Oh, okay. So they're not consolidated.
No, they're not.
Okay.
And then the other things that I do are on separate pages too. The Cold Cream. That's happened after you have moved away. Cold Cream, I play drums in with is a punk band
Oh,
in town, and that is on Cold Cream's Bandcamp.
okay.
And there's a couple other things.
Folks, if you're curious about checking out Clark's music, get in touch with him. He's a super friendly guy. But definitely, everybody out there who loves to party, I would highly recommend picking up that country album. It rules. Great album to hang out with your buds with. Crack a few cold ones and have a fucking chill ass time. It's great. Cool. Clark, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna ask you if you would be so gracious as to play a live song for us.
Hey, I got my guitar right here, as a matter of fact.
No shit. All right, folks. While Clark gets ready, I'm just gonna tell you about this thing we're gonna try. I'm going to put another QR code up on the screen. And this QR code is for if you want to come on the show and ask Clark a question. You scan the QR code and then with your phone, and then it takes you to the website. You give it permission to access your camera and your microphone, and then Claire, who's in Los Angeles, is going to beam you into the show. How about that? That's pretty cool. Anyway, Clark, take it, buddy.
This is a fairly new one. This is on the new album that'll be out soon. I'm drinking my feelings again. Drinking my feelings again. I'll have 2 pints if I don't care. Shot if I don't give a damn. Drinking my feelings again. slip on down the hatch. I'm drinking till they are dispatched. I sip the cup of sorrow, chase it with a deep despair. Drinking till I'm unaware. Morning slips up from the night. I'm imbibing so I can't get right. I'm down the fifth of downcast, if I miss you so. Drinking my feelings tonight. Got my emotions so lubricated. I feel so much better now. I'm inebriated. I can't overstate how much I love getting faded. I'm using booze to get my moods regulated. Sometimes I get drunk and I get choked up. Then all these feelings get soaked up. Pour me 2 fingers of angry tears and slam a can if you broke my heart. Drinking's a good place to start. Drinking's a good place to start. I'm drinking my feelings again. I'm drinking my feelings.
Hell yeah, dude. Super nice. We can all relate to that. We've all been there. All right, folks, if you're watching and you're having a good time, you can ask a question in the chat or you can try to fly into the show, as you know. I'm going to try to focus on... Oh, we got some claps. Clark, you can't see the old... Oh, we got some claps. We got some dances.
Ooh.
We got some damn good stuff from Rhode Island. Pretty cool. Pretty nice.
Thanks, everybody.
We got a message from Tennessee saying the writing on the country album is Chef's Kiss.
Oh. Thank you.
All right, man. Let's get back into the interview vibe.
Okay.
Tell me about life in Carborough.
Oh, it's good. I like it. Pace is mellow. Rent isn't crazy cheap, but it's not out of control. It's getting there. I've been lucky to have this apartment right in town for a while that is very affordable. So I could walk around. I could scoot around. I don't know if you saw that online. I bought that crazy little scooter. Did you see this, Jeremy?
No, I didn't.
I'll have to send you the video. One of the best things I did at the beginning of the lockdown was I bought this crazy little electric scooter that's really low to the ground. It only goes about 20 miles an hour. I look like a total clown on it because it's a little thing that folds up. But, oh man, it's fun. And when everybody was just home for months, I would tool around. You could go all around town at night and not see a soul, not see a car, anybody walking around, and I would just scoot around on that thing. So fun. Highly recommend it. Best thing I ever bought. There's a couple. I'll send you. There's a couple videos on YouTube of I mounted the camera and drove around. I was really excited about like, all right, I'm just gonna go all around Carborough and get the scoot view.
You don't have that video on that computer that you're on right now, do you?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it is. Huh. Let me
It
see if
says
I can find it real quick.
It says Scoot Carborough.
talking, my man. I'm just trying to see if I can get this on the show.
Yeah, Pat was in town. You know Pat.
Pat Gallagher, Patty G.
Pat G. Another good dude. And we were having some drinks, and we were talking about the scooter. And he was like, April was here, and she was like, "You should go take it for a spin." I was like, "Oh man, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It's too late." And he was like, "No, I'll take it for a spin just around the parking lot." I said, "Oh god, here we go." He zoomed down one way, then he zoomed up the other way and out to the street, down on the main street. I was like, "Oh Lord, I just killed Pat." But it turned out okay. It's always sketchy if anybody's had anything to drink and jumps on that thing. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I wonder how to do this. I think I got it.
This has got some of the Tegucigalpan tracks from the one from last year.
There he goes. First person POV, folks.
Scarborough. That's it. If it went any faster, I'd be afraid of it because I know I would eat shit. I have ate shit on it, and it doesn't go that fast. But about 18 to 20 miles an hour is just about right. I bought these caps that go on the air valve that have a plastic green dice that flash with lights in them when they move, like people get on their bikes. These green dice. And I didn't realize that they were built for a bike, and they stuck out farther than the fork on the scooter. And I went up the street, and it went a few times and busted it off. I didn't realize it, and all the air went out of the front tire. And I went right in the street on Main Street.
God damn,
but other
man.
than that, I've stayed upright on it.
That's traumatic.
It could have been. I mean, I wrecked into the oncoming lane. If a car had been coming, that would have been it. But luckily, nobody was around. I just felt stupid. I kind of looked up like somebody was going to help me. Nobody was around. There was a couple people walking down the street that kind of looked and just kept walking.
Yeah, USA,
Right in front of,
baby.
in front of Wendy's there. But I learned my lesson, I guess. I definitely get less squirrely on it since then. I might have been hot dogging a little bit before that. After that, I was like, well, all right, got to show this thing some respect.
I think that was pretty successful. Little segment.
Yeah, that's Scarborough right there, or a little piece of it. A little piece of it near my apartment.
Peace party. Clark, do you want to play another of your songs?
Sure.
Cool.
Let's see here. This is a new one. I just wrote this at Thanksgiving. Hanging out at my folks' house in Asheville. It's got a lot of words. I think I got it though. Warren wore to enjoy every sandwich. Not long before he passed away. John said life happens. Some say John said life happens while you're making other plans. Or he said to seize the day. Now we're out here trying to make some progress on the plans we made in gold set long ago. We might our chins up, count our blessings. We've still got hard roads to hoe. Old Phil declared we are all insects, groping towards things terrible, Lord divine. Jack closed his eyes and saw his bones thread mud in his grave. And in the end, old Charlie said, don't try. My mother told me, try to rise above it. When folks are mean or knock you down a peg, those people in the world who throw up roadblocks in your way, don't shout them down, move right around them, stay on track, don't let them in your head. It's difficult to put it into practice, all this wise and erudite advice. Like Robert, for instance, known for poignant turns of phrase, like, don't look back and don't think twice. It's all right if you're confused, but hey, don't blame me. We're all out here trying to make it through. If the sun keeps rising, it's all the same to me. I'll still contemplate, recycle, and repurpose all these sage ideas for you.
Nice.
Thanks. That's a new one.
There's one that's on the tape. That's on the second side. That's sort of similar to that I love. It's not straight country. It's almost like psychedelic. I feel like towards the second side of the tape, it gets like a little bit less traditional sounding.
Yeah, there's. Oh. Yeah, I try to work the kind of cosmic. I mean, I guess that's one thing with the different kinds of music that I do is it tends to have a psychedelic angle to it, I guess. But yeah, with the country too. Um, and yeah, on the tape, the farther you go into it, the more it has kind of a more washed out, kind of trippy sound or whatever. Throw more delays and phasers and stuff on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the one that we're almost done with, the new album, is more so that way. I think it's going to be a little more psychedelic.
Cosmic country.
Cosmic country, yeah. That's the way it sounds so far. Anyway, we're not done recording it, but it's leaning that way. Feels that way.
And that's the whole shebang. The whole band.
Yeah, it's the whole band. It's most of the same people.
Wow.
We'll see. It's like until I get everything back, I don't exactly know. But it's a lot of the same people so far, and there's still people that I'm waiting to hear back from and haven't talked to. There's no rush because I'll put it out myself. So that's kind of the vibe. It's like, yeah, here are the songs. When you can do something with it, send it to me, and then we'll, there's no timetable. But yeah, there should be, I don't know, there'll be like 10 people that'll play on it probably, I think. And that's with me doing the bass and drums and acoustic guitar and the singing. There's a lot of other additional people that will add things. I think, and that's with me doing the bass and drums and acoustic guitar. Somebody's on there. A lot of other additional people that will add things.
Hey, viewer, go ahead and mute whatever you're watching.
Somebody's on there.
On.
Oh, yeah. Additional people that will add things.
Hey, viewer, go ahead and mute whatever you're watching.
Somebody's on there.
All right, viewer.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can definitely hear you.
Oh, sick.
Oops.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
For Countryman. I was just thinking, like, it seems like country music in general is like a great way to tell a story. But also, if you like need to tell a story, perhaps country music is like a good way to do that. Like which one of those found you first, if that makes any sense? Because it seems to me like a lot of people who play and write country music or folk music, what have you, it's like they've got, you know, a lot of narrative to put into the music, and I find that to be an interesting part of, you know, that style.
I used to write a lot.
Thanks for your
Sorry.
call, viewer.
Bye.
Have a great night.
I wrote a lot of poetry when I was a kid, from when I was really young, and it was real straightforward. And then when I was actually starting to be in bands, I was in punk rock bands and I'm doing a bunch of weirdo music. And then the lyrics got really kind of more abstract. But the older I've got, the more, once I got into country music, the more I was listening to, and there just came a point where the songs would just kind of pop in my head. I didn't have to like try to conjure them up. They just, a lot of time at work, I would just get an idea, and then by the end of the shift, I just write it on a napkin, and then there it was. So I didn't feel like I needed to tell a story. I think just listening to a lot of country music put something in my head working on that. And every once in a while, it would just spit something out. I just write it down. And that's still kind of how it is.
Yeah, you've got an uncontrollable compulsion.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty obsessive, I guess. But
Yeah,
that's a way to be, I think, with art. Like, why not just, what is it? To pick something that you love and let it kill you. What is that? The Bukowski thing? Yeah, why not? What else are we going to do?
yeah. We got a question from the chat from New York City, and the viewer asks, "What's something that you learned about country music production during this endeavor?"
I don't know. I definitely, when I'm in that mixing mode and recording, I think when I'm not doing that but listening to country music, I'm kind of I'm thinking about it, and I A/B a lot of stuff. I guess there are specific things that people do in the studio that you would consider like country things, but it's been real easy for me to not have to think about it because I'll write the song and put the guitar and bass and drums down, the vocal, and then all these great people will put this fiddles and pedal steel and stuff. And for me, that's what really makes it sound like the real deal. Like I think the songs are fine, and they'd be fine if I just did them that way. But I don't know, maybe not. Like I actually wanted to start a country band a while before I did, and the hang up was that I didn't have a pedal steel player. And a big piece of the puzzle was when Dan moved here, and I met him, and he said he played pedal steel, and I said, "Oh, really? Well." And same happened when Evan showed up and started working at the door. I was like, "Oh, you play banjo? Oh, and Courtney, you play fiddle? Interesting. All right. Well, so um, I don't know about. I don't have any formal like I said earlier. I'll watch YouTube videos about mixing or whatever or mastering, and there's a zillion nerds on there that will like lay it all out, and it's really easy to tell right away if it's somebody that you want to listen to for a half hour or an hour, and if they know what they're talking about. That's been real helpful with a lot of stuff, music stuff and other things. Like that's a cool thing about the time we live, I guess, with all the other downsides to the technology and the computer. Like, there's some nerd on YouTube that'll explain anything to you. So it's great.
And here we are. We have another question from the chat. This is from Tennessee. Do you have a favorite country artist right now?
Oh, right now. Um, I've been listening to a lot like Jerry Jeff Walker. I like a lot.
Mm.
Bobby Bear, Johnny Paycheck. And all the time people are like, "Oh, you got to check this out," and I make a little note in my phone, and we'll go and try to dive in. Another good thing about the technology, for years the only country music I really heard ever were records from the thrift store or whatever, and I wasn't interested in what was the mainstream country, and I'm still not very aware of a lot of it. But now you look on there and it's like, oh, there's every Willie Nelson record. There's 100 records or whatever. So that's kind of awesome to take those dives. And I'll listen to Cocaine and Rhinestones, and I'll listen to Dollar Country is great, the podcast. And I'll read books about country people, and I'll make little notes, and then I'll go and dig in. So much out there. If anybody really likes country music, you got to check out that Dollar Country. It is so good. He is in Cleveland. He goes and digs crates and finds all these singles that maybe they made a few hundred or 500,000 in the 50s or whatever, and they're generally not real successful records or artists, but he finds all the oddball stuff, and he does this podcast, and it is great. And there's total gems and then stuff that's odd, but his approach is like, I'm not here to find everything that everybody's going to like. This is going to be all this stuff that's all, So to somebody that comes out of punk rock and the weirdo electronic music world and all that stuff, that's like, there's so much gold there. Like, nothing's bad. It's all either really good or like super interesting from some weird way, and sometimes kind of bizarre. But yeah, check that out. It's a free podcast you can get. Dollar Country, highly recommend it.
And there's something so magical about being shown something by an enthusiast, someone just sit down, I need to show you this shit, and just like really break it down for you.
Yeah, there's so much. There are new people I like. I saw Hannah Juanita play at the Double Crown a while back in Asheville. She's really great. There are people out there doing it that are playing kind of more traditional country music that are awesome. That's not the kind of country music that's real popular, but there are enough people out there that want to hear it and will go see it. So like that place, the Double Crown in Asheville, every time I'm out there, I'll stop by there on a Wednesday. I have this Western Wednesday, and there'll be some band that'll be awesome, and they'll play for like 2 hours, and people are dancing. It's really amazing.
Jesse and the Jinx.
Yeah.
You know them?
No, I don't. I've tried. I think I've talked to them online about trying to set up a show.
I know.
Do they do the thing at Fleetwood's?
I wouldn't know, man. I
think
live
they
in
might.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, I feel like Jesse and the Jinx might be the ones behind. There's like a Tier in My Beer Tuesdays. I might be getting that wrong. There's a lot of people in Nashville I've been trying to talk to now that COVID hopefully is, going to
it's over.
wrap up in the next month or 2 or 3. Either way, I'm going to be out in Nashville and try to play. So
Nice,
I go out there a lot. My parents are there, my sister, and my family. So I try to play whenever I'm out there. Fleetwood's is great. Static Age. And that Double Crown place I haven't played, but I would love to. That place is awesome.
Fuck yeah. Cheers. Shout out to all the outposts. Keeping it alive. Keeping it real.
Yeah. Asheville's real fun.
We're going to wrap things up. Would you like to take us out with one last song, Clark? Are you
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Sick.
I'll play one from the tape.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're saying goodbye to Clark. And then we're going to have Nick Painter, Trog Pite. Stay tuned.
Those two before were real new. This is an old one. This is from the tape. Maybe I'll succumb to a sudden heart attack. Maybe I will trip and fall on the wrong railroad track. When I go, I'll go none. I never got you back. Maybe I'll get tetanus from a rusty nail. Maybe bears will eat me on a lonesome mountain trail. When I go, I know I try to get you back and fail. So one day when I die, I'll be damned if I didn't try to stay up in your heart where one side always been. So when I reach my end, I might hit a power line while digging in the yard. I might get shot by burglars, catch me off guard. I've never had a heartache hurt so hard. I've never had a heartache hurt so hard. outside of my morbidity, I've scanned the thought and think. Pushes all my buttons and drives me to drugs and drink. My heart in your sweet countenance once and forever lay. So, one day when I die, I'll be damned if I didn't try to stay up in your heart where once I'd always been. So when I reach my end, I'll never have a heartache hurt so hard. I'll never have a heartache hurt so hard. I'll never have a heartache hurt this hard. I'll never have a heartache hurt this hard. Yeah. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thanks for coming. That was super fun, and I love the fact that you have a new record come in, and I'm psyched to check out your experimental stuff. And of course, you know, it's funny because I don't really get caught up in this kind of stuff anymore, but I would love to have to play a show with you sometime.
Yeah,
I'd be
absolutely.
So psyched. I'd be so psyched.
Well, let me know when you're coming.
I'm never gonna go back there.
What if there'll be another Savage weekend this year, maybe? And
I don't know.
Savage? No,
I don't think I'll be invited.
Oh well, hell. Well, I'll come up there. I definitely want to come up that way. I've got friends. I'd like to go see Pat and
Patty G.
Yeah, and where is he?
Let's meet in Philadelphia.
Philly.
Halfway.
Let's play a show in Philly with Pat.
Philly is totally halfway.
Yeah, and my brother's in New York, and I've definitely got people I'd like to see up that way. All right, well we'll be in touch. We'll talk about it.
Let's make it happen, dude.
And if anybody wants a tape, hit me up. And if you want a sticker and a button and stuff, I'll send it to you for free. Just hit me up and send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I'll send you some stickers and stuff.
There you go. Self-addressed stamped envelope.
DM me.
Sick. All right, well, have a fucking wonderful rest of your night, Clark.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. I'm gonna hang out and watch the rest of the show.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Adios.
This is the QR code to go back to Clark's Bandcamp page. Go ahead and get a copy of that tape. It's super fun to listen to in the kitchen. We're gonna watch another video now. This is Margot Day. She's gonna be on the show in March, and this is her band playing a song I think is called "The Plague." So enjoy this music and video, if you will. sure to tune in when she's on March 24th. Next week we have Mark Marino. He's a hardcore kid. We're going to interview Mark and talk to him about hardcore. And we had a guest cancel, so I'm going to have to try to think of something cool. But up next, we're going to talk to Nick Painter, all the way down in Texas. I'm going to unmute him and bring him on the show. Hey, Nick. Welcome
Hey,
to the
hey,
show.
Jeremy.
Hi.
What's up?
Not much. I'm
You
just
hear
so
me okay?
pleased that the show is working this week that I feel high.
That's great.
So welcome to the show,
Sounds
Nick.
great.
If we could get maybe a little more volume from you, that would be sick.
Is that any better?
It's fantastic.
Okay. Hey,
All right, Nick, where are you and what are you doing?
I'm down in Kyle, Texas. Hanging out, watching your show. Sounded great. Clark was really good.
What a lovable guy.
Beautiful songs.
I know. I do really wish everyone would get a copy of that tape. It's fantastic. We got Josh Levi in the chat shouting you out. He says, Trog Daddy.
Hey, Josh. Congrats on
Yeah.
the second kid. Keep it up.
Yeah, number 3. Coming at you. Dude, you're in the studio?
In the studio, yeah.
Looks cool as hell. What do you got going on in there?
Thanks. Got some red lights, and the electricity is on in here right now. Try to keep it off when the studio is not being used.
Folks, I'm putting the QR code to join the show up in the corner once again. If you're having trouble getting through, make sure that on the device that you're using to scan the code, you've given Chrome permission to access your camera and microphone. And then when you scan the QR code, you'll be prompted once again to allow that particular tab to access your mic, and you want to go ahead and allow it to do everything. And then Claire, the lovely Claire, will beam you directly into the program. Nick, there's so many things about your life that I don't know, but I see little tip of iceberg posts on Instagram, typically, and I'm really fascinated by the music that you've been making, your new album that just came out on No Rent, and then also your interior house painting company. And I just want to hear all about all that stuff, man. Do you feel generous tonight? Do you feel like talking about it at length for the viewers?
Yeah, I could talk as much as I am able.
Please do.
So, 100 Baths just came out earlier this year on No Rent Records. Recorded in 2020 from about September to December. And mostly just early morning recordings of, live, I guess, jam sessions. And then I just cut them down into short tracks and sent it over to Jason Krumer. And then they put it out on a tape. Pretty happy with it. And, I have a painting company here, so do lots of painting. We actually do exterior now, so we're interior and exterior painting. So if anybody has any questions about painting, hopefully I could answer it for you. What else? Spend a lot of time in the studio and at home. Lucky enough to be able to come home early some days from work and take some days off. So that's pretty nice.
We got a question. We're beaming a
Hey.
guest in, and this will just take a moment, and then we'll be able to access this pool.
Caller, I think you're muted.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't appear as though you have capability of allowing your sound. Oof. Eric, you're muted.
Eric, it just worked.
We're going to send him back into the ether. Folks, down in the lower left-hand corner, I think, of your screen is a QR code to go straight to the Trog Pite Bandcamp page where you'll be able to pick up. Eric, go ahead and try again. Pick up the new tape and maybe get some other music as well. Trog Pite.
Yeah, there's a couple other tracks on the Bandcamp.
Do you think that while we have a conversation, you could play some of your music kind of in the background
Oh, sure.
for the listeners to enjoy?
I think so. Let me try this here. Did you hear that?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Can you still hear it?
Yeah, it is rather good. It sounds great. So we got a question from the chats. What can you say about linseed oil paint?
I honestly, I don't know much about linseed oil paint, but I know you have to apply it if you're using a linseed oil over like some woods as a stain, as like a clear coat. You have to apply it maybe once a year, maybe more, maybe less. Um, and it has a nice smell to it, linseed. And a lot of people in the eco-friendly community use it as an alternative for other stains. But that's about all I know. I'm not much of a staining finisher. We don't do any staining in the business.
We got another chat question. How do you feel about paint finishes on walls versus trim?
Well, I personally prefer a flatter finish on the walls, or maybe a matte finish. And for trim, I like the trim to be kind of clean and maybe a little glossy. Cleans up better.
Once again, from Josh Levi, we've got what kind of paint is standard for ceilings?
That'd be like a flat paint, something that doesn't have any sheen to it, so that the light doesn't reflect off of it. And you can see a lot more imperfections with a glossier paint, so you want to go with a flat paint on the ceiling. Typically a white paint, so it kind of opens the room up a little more.
From Cleveland, Ohio, a viewer wants to know how much do you hate wallpaper?
um, I hate wallpaper. I don't like wallpaper at all, but I refuse to deal with it in a professional setting. So it doesn't affect my life too much.
From Philadelphia, we have what's that pig called? And
What's that? What called?
what is that pig called? What is that?
Oh, we have a pig here. His name is Shevin.
You have a pet pig.
He's our roommate.
Ah, I see. Shevin.
Shevin or Chevon.
Do you enjoy scoring movies?
Yeah, I'd love to score a movie. I'm actually working on a score for a documentary my brother is making that I'm very excited about. And I love the process, and I'd love to do it more often.
Let's talk some more about that. What's up with this movie?
It's a documentary on a guy that I introduced him to who has spent most of his life incarcerated in prisons, and now he's out and he's trying to put himself through a reform to come back into society, and just kind of documenting that process. And my brother's making a documentary about him documenting his own process, and it's been an interesting story so far.
A work in progress.
Work in progress, yeah.
So not something that you can link people to watch at all at this point.
No, not at this point.
But that's exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a fascinating guy. Really nice guy too.
Yeah. That sounds like something that I would really love to see and watch.
The guy, his name is Michael Cevallos, and he has it's called Cell Life, CELLLIFE, and he has like a Facebook and does some live stuff sometimes.
We got a request from the chats to see your pig roommate. Is that a possibility?
He's sleeping right now, and my camera is not mobile.
Oh, the pig is sleeping, folks.
He goes to bed at dusk and wakes up at 6:30 a.m. So he sleeps about 12 or 13 hours a night in the winter.
Let's try some more of that music stuff. See if we can get that rolling in the background.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear. Oops. Check my music.
Can you still hear the music?
Yeah, that sounds really good. I think that's an appropriate level.
Okay.
Is it fluctuating or am I?
I can't hear the outgoing.
All right, let's dig into eco-conscious painting business practices.
Okay.
This is up to you, man. This is something that I know very little about, except that it exists, and that's pretty much where my knowledge of the subject ends.
Well, without boring everybody, I guess I started the brush and color because I've always been somewhat eco-conscious, I guess, and I have experience in the painting industry, so I tied the two together and didn't really see any eco-friendly painting companies in Baltimore where I was living when I started it, and did a little bit more research and didn't really find any anywhere. So thought that would be a nice, I guess, niche market, and it's worked out pretty well so far. But in the coatings industry, there's not really a lot of. I mean, there are eco-friendly products, but it, like all of the construction industry, it's very much like there's just so much waste and really unhealthy practices that could be, I guess, explored more. But you also got to make money at the end of the day to pay the bills. So sometimes, we do still use some Sherwin-Williams here and there or whatever. But we try to practice, we try to be as eco-conscious as possible. But there are certain coatings that require maybe a more heavy-duty primer that might have some oil-based product in it or something that off-gasses and smells terrible. But sometimes you just got to use it.
I think the first time, if not the first time, but one of the earliest occurrences that I saw you perform music was like at Voice of the Valley a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think you were playing like surf guitar
Oh, yeah.
and kind of giggling and like kind of like swinging your hips around like Elvis.
Yeah.
But the background music was like, it sounded just like a record off axis, like skipping and playing the wrong speed. But as people can hear, hopefully in the background, the music that you're making now seems more like processed based purely electronic music.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
and I don't know, you and I haven't been in touch over the years, but I'm curious about the trajectory and the arc from one to the other. If there is like a story, I'm personally curious
Okay.
to hear about how one transformed into the other, or if they still coexist and always have.
Yeah. I think they've always coexist. Maybe not as much anymore. I haven't played guitar in years. I did, however, play banjo a couple years ago in the Austin Banjo Club, which was a funny time.
Do you have any photos or videos of that at all?
No, you could see a video on YouTube, but it's pretty embarrassing. But the group was all these really old people in their 70s and 80s, and then I was in the group too, and we played at nursing homes around Austin and played old swing music. It was a weird phase of my life where I guess I wasn't making any music at all, and I didn't even listen to music. So I guess that was like some outlet of something music related. But the songs got really annoying pretty quickly and stopped going. But I still like the guys in the group. Nice group of old people. Oh, there they are. Back in 2012. So at one point it was 13 banjos and one tuba, and it was a real racket because most of the people didn't remember the songs, including me. But we played at nursing homes, mostly where people had dementia or Alzheimer's, and they recognized the songs enough to, I guess, have a good time. So it was a lot of fun. I'm not in this video, by the way. This is 2012.
You said 6 years ago you were there?
No, that would have been 2017, I guess. I think actually I played in the group the year of 2018 only. And we recorded on a some wax, piece of wax. Actually, that first video there, I'm on that one. Walking my baby back home. And we recorded on a Ediphone, I think it's called. Thomas Edison's first recording. I think he had the first commercial piece of recording equipment. And this kid had one and recorded us. So that was a neat experience. And the tuba player in this video, his name's Bob Alexis. He has passed away. And we had a funeral. At his funeral, the Austin Banjo Club played live next to his open casket, which is pretty strange.
Yeah.
But it was cool, I guess.
It appears as though a gentleman who is alleging to be your father's complimenting the hat in the video.
Thanks, Dad.
Shout out to Kenneth Painter, Nick's dad.
Papa Painter, 13.
Give us a little boost of your audio for a moment, and we'll regale in the splendor.
Did that get louder?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Okay. These are all snippets of unfinished tracks. I just kind of threw it together today.
Thanks for doing that. If you're just tuning in, you can scan that QR code and we can beam you into the show and you can talk to Nick, interact with Nick, ask him a question. If you don't want your video, you can always mute your video and just be a voice. There's a lot of things we can do. If you're having trouble logging in using the QR code, make sure to go into your device's settings and allow Chrome access to your microphone and camera. Got a compliment on the audio. It says sounds lovely.
Appreciate it. It's mostly pretty goofy.
Is this similar to the 100 Baths material, or is that kind of different vibration?
I'd say that's a different vibe for sure. That was all recorded like early morning. So it's like much, I guess there's no real drums on it or beats.
Does it work now?
It sure does.
Oh fuck! All right. Yeah. This is more of a comment than anything.
Hold on, I gotta beam you into the show.
Oh, correct.
Folks, we got another listener about to jump in. As soon as I can. There he is. Eric, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
You have a question or comment that you'd like to share with?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Talk area stuff, but yeah, it was more of a comment. I think like 5 or so years ago, I shared a video on like Facebook or something, or I did that or Instagram or whatever, and it was like a video of this like little kid, like a toddler, trying to throw a cat into a pool, but like the cat kind of like did some magical cat stuff and like didn't even land in the pool, but the kid fell in, and I posted something like, I hope this kid dies. And I remembered Nick Painter sent me a private message, and it was something to the effect of like, you're like, hey man, I've been having like a hard time the last couple of weeks, and this comment and video really like turned it around for me today, so I appreciate it. And I was like, man, I don't know this guy that well, but he's pretty far out, so I just wanted to share that with everybody.
Thanks for the call, caller.
Nice.
Folks,
I remember that well.
Yeah. Folks, you can be just like Eric and share some beautiful memories with the show. Just scan that QR code. So give us a it's like it's a taste of what life is all about in Texas. And like, why do you live in Texas?
I don't know. Life's pretty cool here, I guess. I mean, I think life for me and life for a Texan is probably quite different, but we live at the same state. But I moved here in 2017 after living in Baltimore for 5 years, and I had quit drinking. Well, I had slowed down a lot drinking in 2017 and started the painting business, brush and color. So I thought, well, I should probably get away from all these people that I still love dearly, but just needed to distance myself from my surroundings, I guess. And, you know, it was like an adventure. Start a business and just move somewhere new, see what happens. So I picked Austin and been here since. Although I live in Kyle now, which is 30 miles south of Austin. And life's great here. I mean, we have some animals and, you know, like to cook food and paint houses.
You know, I was really struck by your beaming positivity on the Instagram stories
Oh, yeah.
over the years, and it seemed genuine. And I was impressed by the consistency. And it seemed as though it was like a mental discipline that you had consciously decided to adopt. And
Yeah.
And I was impressed by, like I said, by the fact that it was ongoing and didn't falter or waver. Is there in fact like a sort of mental discipline that you employ in order to stay on the sunny side of the street, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty hard. It's pretty easy to get negative. So sure, it takes some work, I guess. But I've tried a lot of things, over the years. TM, transcendental meditation, was a big one for a while, and drinking, but that didn't really work. And tried other things, but I don't know anymore. I just like making music. That keeps me pretty happy, positive, and just being positive. I don't know.
Are you working on a new music project that has taken shape since your last cassette?
Oh yeah, I have another album recorded and
In the
ready. It's called Hexa Triangle, and I'm just trying to record a track a week this year. That's the new goal.
What goes into the composition and execution of a track for you? I find this stuff interesting, and I rarely get a chance to actually talk to anybody about their musical practice. And I actually am really curious about what you do to prepare and execute a track.
I guess it depends on the track. Usually just start with like some loops, and if I guess lately I like melody a lot, and finding interesting melodies that are interesting to me, I guess. So just looking for a nice melody and then building from that. Most of the tracks are just kind of garbage, but just kind of go through it and arranging some parts. I don't really know how to write a song, so just going with the flow.
Would you be so kind as to cue up another track? It seems as though the music has stopped.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, it's quite all right. I would love to hear some more, though.
Yeah. Try to find something fresh. I guess part of this whole studio thing is file management. Sometimes can be a little crazy.
Lots of data entry.
Spreadsheets? No, I don't use spreadsheets. Well, actually, I do for, I guess, routing, but not for tracks.
Got a pad of graph paper. That's been really,
You use graph paper, you said?
really helpful in making
good idea.
Correct.
Let's see here. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. We'll switch it up. I'll play you something from Hex to Triangle.
Folks, we're going to listen to some new, unreleased Trog Pite music right now.
Let's see here. That last track was for my grandma, Gongi.
Shout out, Donkey. We got a question from the chats coming all the way from Philadelphia, which is in Pennsylvania. From Lance Simmons, he wants to know, are you sequencing hardware mostly? Or yeah, are you sequencing hardware mostly?
Yes.
How do the digital tools fit in?
So I use like a DAW as a sequencer, and it took a really long time for me to figure out, because I like to play everything live at the same time instead of just like recording and sitting with a mouse and, you know, pasting them all together. So I have these modules that run MIDI through SPDIF, and then the modules, well, MIDI data runs through SPDIF and then out MIDI ports to all the synthesizers or the hardware, and it's all sample accurate in time because using USB with a bunch of devices in MIDI, it just ends up all going out of sync and sounding really bad.
Yes. I don't know
So
what
that
SPDIF is.
SPDIF is a cable. It's a digital audio cable, but you can send other data through it too, like MIDI data through the audio. And then I just use the DAW. I use Ableton Live
To
with
launch
the
MIDI
push to sequence it, yeah.
live.
And then I use the DAW as effects sends too, and I use you know, the effects in the DAW as effects returns on the mixer here.
Are you often surprised by the outcome of the compositions once it all starts to gel? Or not so much?
Usually, yeah. Usually pretty surprised. Um, most of my adult artistic endeavor has been pretty much just experimental, um, improv. So I'm always interested in the outcome of I guess a written or a sequenced track. I don't know. I think it's pretty fun and funny.
Yeah, humor.
Yeah.
A lot of people steer clear of humor. But some of us just can't help it. We're just so
I agree.
funny, naturally.
Or just goofy, I guess.
Yeah, goofy. Distinction. A pretty important distinction.
But yeah, usually, I mean, it's pretty easy for a track to sound really boring. Uh, so try to not do that,
Mm.
and then that could be a surprising outcome.
How's your goal going?
My goal, track a week.
Track a week.
I think I've done 2 so far, but they're both really bad.
They're kind of like New Year's resolution tracks.
Yeah.
Nice. And they're
Well,
both-
one was the week before, the last week of 2021.
Yeah. Josh Levi is soothed by Ergonji music.
Oh, nice.
I've gotten quiet.
Yeah, I'll put another track on.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Let's see. So this album, Hexatriangle, is coming out sometime this year. It's really like songy beats and stuff.
Can we get some more volume?
Yeah, is that working?
That's good. So much love in the chat. So much love in the chat for that track.
Thanks for the love.
Mysterious vibes. Kenneth was super down. He's talking about listening to it on the headphones, and he was adding drum fills in. Got
Thanks, Kenneth.
Hexa Triangle sounds dope. Mysterious. We had people who were dancing. Exclusive sneak preview to the new Trog.
Coming out.
Yeah. Tell us some details about the release. How can we find it? When can we anticipate it being available?
Pretty soon. I think I'm
Self-released.
just going to release it on Bandcamp or some streaming platform.
On the screen on the lower left-hand side, you guys can see the QR code. That'll take you directly to Nick's Bandcamp. Pick up the 100 Baths tape. It's killer.
I still have a couple hard copies left of the cassette. You can just hit me up. I could send you one.
Nick, I'm going to cut you loose, my friend, but I want to thank you sincerely for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Super.
Love your show.
I'm glad. I had a lot of fun tonight, and I feel great. I feel real jazzed
It's great to
um,
hear.
because everything worked as far as I could tell.
That's
Um,
awesome. Clark was great.
Yeah, Clark was super good.
I was hoping he'd play that song from the wall he did on Soundcheck the other day, though. That was really
Yeah,
nice.
it's always super gutsy. I've been thinking about covering "Comfortably Numb" with my
Nice.
band because
It's a
that
great
song
song.
is a great song. It
Yeah.
would give everybody a chance to sing in character, and maybe we could bust out some costumes and stuff like the Doctor. Oh, and then I could solo at the end, which would be really fun.
That would be cool.
We're getting a request before we cut you loose, Nick, to see just one last chance if we could circle back to the pig. Is that a possibility? Not so much.
uh, uh, I can't. Well, I can't move my computer, but I could.
How about a photo? You got one on your phone? You can just hold it to the camera.
I could hold a photo up. Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Through the miracle of modern technology. That's a cute pig.
Yeah, he's super cute. I'll give you one more photo. Hold up. This is Siobhan and our dog Nova.
Interspecies cohabitation. Did Siobhan come with the house?
No, we actually got some chickens back in May or June. Because we're getting into gardening, and they make great fertilizer. But one of them turned out to be a rooster, and you're not allowed to have a rooster in the city of Kyle. So we found a sanctuary space that would not harm him.
Right on the county line.
It was actually about an hour and a half away. It's a horse sanctuary, and they have over 200 horses. They're rescued horses. And we went there and took the rooster there. Big Red was his name. And when we went there, they had a pig. They were like, "Do you want a pig?" And
The answer is yes.
the answer was, "I don't know." And then it was, I guess so.
Yeah, before you know it, they're shoving it in the back door of your hatchback.
Yeah, it was pretty wild when they were like, "All right, we'll go get the pig. We'll put him in the crate for you." And the guy grabbed Chevin as nicely as he could have. And pigs do not like to be touched or picked up.
No.
They love to be pet, but not picked up. And he
Yeah.
screamed. He screamed, and it was the loudest thing I've ever heard.
In your entire
Probably.
life.
And every other animal on the sanctuary started screaming with him.
I would have as well.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah,
That's when I knew we made a great choice.
And you've been best buds ever since.
Yeah, it's been a great time. We love Siobhan.
Hell yeah. There's a lot of love for Siobhan in the chats. And we're looking forward to maybe seeing you in the chats in future episodes and maybe sharing some more photographs
I'll be there.
of Siobhan. All right, my friend. So
Thanks,
long.
Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye. This is pretty much the end of the show, but there's one more segment, and it's entitled Acoustic Corner. This is a part of the show that I'm going to try to have every episode, where we have some folks send in little acoustic performances. They could be acoustically, they could be on anything that is an acoustic anything. That's the only rules, because I don't give a shit about rules generally. most of the time, especially with music. So yeah, if you're a friend of mine and I already have contacted you about being on Acoustic Corner, go ahead and shoot me those emails. Shoot them in horizontal, and if you could send an MP4, that'd be great. MOVs are a little bit too big for OBS. And I also wanted to do a segment of the show that highlighted brand new releases from the homies this week. This week on Bandcamp, sort of. I didn't put too much effort into that this week, but I do want to give a shout out to Sam Goldberg's Winter Hallucinations, which is available for free on his Bandcamp, Sam Goldberg Winter Hallucinations. And there's a new Leslie Keffer album out on Chocolate Monk that you can check out. And Leslie's going to be on the show in March as well, so stay tuned for that. But for tonight, what we're going to wrap the show with is Dan Beckman doing Acoustic Corner, the first one. So here we go, folks. Enjoy it, and see you next week.
Village of Spaces coming at you from cloudy Santa Cruz, California. Got Big Blue here with the magical, mystical Amy Moon. Our love is stronger than you or I. You were born on the golden grass. Our love is stronger than dear. You're an expert, you can trust. Our blood is stronger than you or I. Our blood mixes through and through, from the mouth of the San Lorenzo to the cold blue earth, to the rock-strewn coast of Maine, to the deep and infinite sea. Our lives are stronger than smoking Big Blue, and the rain is hang on the garden vine. Grow in its course, and time makes wine. Time makes wine. We'll keep potatoes to the wisteria blooms, and the clear spell rings true. It rings true. It rings true. And the clear spell rings through. It rings through. It rings through. You're an expert decantress, and the water runs through you gets pulled by the moon. My phone's acting up, so I had to start another video here to say goodbye. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to Jeremy for inviting me to do a tune. All right, hang in there, stay safe, everybody.